This might be a relatively good demonstration of how the build works. Or I could just get myself killed, which would be really funny. It's actually kind of difficult to play, but I'm going to attempt to make it look good at the moment. It's definitely one of the most fun things I've ever constructed, so I will load in right here. I have 3 charges of Dominate, so I'm going to dominate gargoyles because they are very high value targets. And then now I'm going to start putting Suspend Mortality on my biggest guys, which are right this second going to be my gargoyles. I actually don't know if Transform messes with Suspend Mortality, so I'm actually going to use Bone Knights here, even though they're slightly worse. No, they actually deal 15 dark damage now that I have Dark Lord. Anyway, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and Mana Potion just for the sake of demonstration here. So now what I can do is I can use my Bone Barrage, and it sends out a spike from every allied unit that I have. And the spike deals damage based on a percentage of their health, and if I target an area, because this is because of all the upgrades, if I target an area that is empty, like if I target an empty tile, it will create a Bone Shambler based on the total damage that it's racked up. So if I go here, it'll shoot through all of these targets, probably killing most of them, and then it creates a Bone Shambler. At the end, it created a Bone Shambler with 61 HP. What's funny is that I can put Suspend Mortality on that guy. Suspend Mortality will reincarnate those units 3 times, and I've tested this. It does seem to bring back Bone Shamblers, even though the Bone Shambler splits. So it will reincarnate the Bone Shambler on a random tile, even though the Bone Shambler splits. And the Bone Shambler splits, you get more allied units for doing this nonsense. So basically, like, if I go ahead and specifically try to place a unit close enough to me, let's see if I can get through both the Golem and the Gargoyle got targeted there. Now if I hit right here, see this Bone Shambler is 85 HP, and if I Suspend Mortality on him, then I can use him as fodder for more Bone Spires. And so I can do something like instantly kill this Imp Collector, probably. Well, not quite instantly, but I made another Bone Shambler with 86 HP. And at the cost of nothing, because this Bone Shambler actually has reincarnation on him. It is kind of disgusting, to be perfectly frank. So now there's a Bone Shambler with 123 HP, and I put reincarnate on him. And so now, if all that I do is just hold spacebar, I can't imagine that I'm going to lose this fight. But what I can do is I can actually just keep doing that if I want to. I still have 8 charges of Bone Shambler. Sorry, not Bone Shambler, but Bone Barrage left. All right, there's another Bone Shambler with 143 HP. And the crazy thing is that this just keeps stacking and scaling as far as I can tell, which is obviously gross for innumerable reasons. Anyway, I'm just about done with this demo because this level is just about rocked. So I'm going to step down. One of the other things that this build is doing, though, that I'm actually having a lot of fun with is Death Touch. Now, Death Touch, I don't know if you've checked this out, but Death Touch has, not Death Bolt, Death Touch, Touch of Death, I suppose, has some upgrades. And these upgrades, the only ones that are mutually exclusive are the Touch of the X, like a Raven, Vampire, Reaper, and these summon a thing when you kill a living unit. But these ones are unconditional, and they stack, and they add like 150 of a typed damage to your Touch of Death as a separate instance of damage for each upgrade that you have, which is crazy because you end up, more than doubling the damage. I've got 450 damage just between these 3 upgrades, and as if that weren't enough, I'm actually I've actually got Nightmare Attunement on this. So half of all the arcane damage dealt by the Death Touch is redealt as dark damage and vice versa. So the fact that this is actually doing 206 dark damage and also dealing 150 arcane damage means that it's really dealing 350 dark damage and 300 arcane damage, or I may have that backwards, 350 arcane, 300 dark, something like that. 275, 280 dark. Yeah, you know, you get what I'm saying anyway. This is a massive hit. It's probably doing something like in the ballpark of 1,000 damage at this point. Like 450 plus 200 would be 650, plus the 200 repeated as arcane is 800, plus the 75 repeated as dark. No, it's not 75. It's actually 150 repeated as dark. 950 damage. It instantly crushes anything. And as a side note, if I were to spec Ghostfire, it's doing both fire and dark every time I hit. So I would summon a ghost automatically for using it. I don't think that's especially good with the rest of my setup, but it is something worth considering. Another thing kind of worth considering is that this Bone Barrage tech is much better if you have Bone Guard specced. I think it's kind of mandatory to bring in Bone Guard if you're going to do this, because it basically allows you to convert your units into more units, into more units, into more units, which is also why I picked up Dominate. But for the record, Dominate turns out to be completely broken. You can dominate gates and stuff like that, and with Brute Force, you can pretty much dominate any unit in the game. It also has obviously extremely strong synergy with Suspend Mortality for obvious reasons, and Bone Barrage on top of that. Everything here is kind of trying to synergize in some way. Underworld Passage has quite a lot of synergy with Touch of Death, because it basically allows you to get right up behind gates or units that you want dead and just OTK them. Anyway, this is one of the most fun builds I've played, so I thought I would make a little video, share it, talk for a second. And yeah, you know, happy Rift wizarding, guys.